Welcome to Battle Lines Journal. In order not to miss the videos prepared by our team, including the latest news and special reports on the war in Israel, you can subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and click the Super Thanks button below. The Israeli armed forces are continuing a ground, air, and naval attack to demolish Hamas's most secret underground tunnels and headquarters in Gaza. The continuous discovery of tunnel connections in the Gaza Strip has fueled the tension between the Israeli army and Hamas. Since the beginning of the battle, the Israeli military has uncovered at least 1,600 underground tunnel exits. However, the army claims that the great majority of the network has yet to be discovered. Israeli army ground troops are currently collaborating with Shin Bet, Israel's domestic intelligence agency, to find and destroy Hamas's most secret underground tunnels in Gaza. As part of this effort, the IDF has taken surprising steps to uncover Hamas's longest and deepest tunnel networks in Gaza. The operation involved the Israeli army's most specialized forces. Military specialists believe that a range of tactics will be required to eliminate or damage the underground network. To do this, the Israeli army conducted airstrikes on the underground network, flooding it with liquid explosives and beginning to fill specific tunnels with seawater. The IDF is still probing these secret channels with robots, dogs, and drones before sending troops into Hamas's underground tunnels. Tunneling has become one of the most perilous tasks for Israeli soldiers. Today, the IDF's 401st Brigade led Israeli forces' offensive and raid operations against Hamas tunnel networks in Gaza. IDF battalions, including the 401st, 188th, and 551st Brigades, remained active in the northern Gaza Strip. Soldiers witnessed widespread use of civilian areas for terrorist purposes and uncovered a large number of weapons in schools, universities, and houses, among other places. One well-known example was a site where Hamas had stockpiled large quantities of explosives and incendiary devices. Terrorists from Hamas have targeted Israeli soldiers during the impressive IDF combat operation. Soldiers from the 188th Brigade were targeted with RPG and small arms fire from the Jerusalem hospital. This resulted in a firefight. Terrorists emerged from nearby buildings and hid among onlookers exiting the hospital. And Hamas terrorists attempted to attack IDF troops from the hospital's entrance before returning and hiding inside. As the terrorist organization's retaliation attacks began, IDF ground troops raided the home of a key Hamas terrorist in Beit Hanun and discovered a large cache of weapons in one of the rooms as part of a separate operation in the area. Intelligence equipment and Hamas terrorist weapons were discovered at the tunnel's entrance in a dramatic attack and raid operation in the area. The IDF murdered Yaqub Ashur, the head of the anti-tank missile order of the Hamas terrorist organization's Khan Yunis Brigade, and Mohammed Khamis Dababash, the former head of the Hamas military intelligence. Tahsin Muslim, commander of the Hamas terrorist organization's so-called Special Forces Combat Auxiliary Company in Beit Lahia, Jihad Azam, the Hamas terror group's so-called intelligence investigation officer in Zaytun, and Munir Hareb, the Rafah Border Brigade's head of public relations, were all detained. Following this critical endeavor, IDF forces seized a large number of Hamas weaponry and military equipment during raids in Shati. The most important activity that emerged today, according to IDF spokesman Daniel Hagari, was the discovery by the IDF troops within Gaza of the deepest and longest access to Hamas's deepest and longest tunnel network. Here are all the details of the incredible operation that effectively cut the lifeblood out of the Hamas terrorist organization in Gaza. Earlier this month, a booby trap near the tunnel shaft opening murdered Gal Eisenkot, the son of Gadi Eisenkot, a former Israeli military leader and one of Israel's 5 war cabinet members. Today, in northern Gaza, a Hamas terrorist leader was seen driving a car through the largest and longest tunnel ever discovered. According to the IDF, this discovery represents the longest reported occurrence of a tunnel in the Gaza Strip in a long time. Let's delve deeper into this topic and see how Israel was able to contact Hamas's top leadership. First and foremost, a quarter-mile from Israel's civilian border crossing with northern Gaza, the longest tunnel ever uncovered in an Israeli army sector was unveiled. This massive tunnel is huge enough for heavy trucks to pass through, yet Israel was unaware it had reached its border until recently. Israeli officials stated that the tunnel, which is 50 meters deep in some sections and 2 miles long, took years to build and cost millions of dollars. The tunnel's objective is clear: to aid in a large-scale attack on Israel. The discovery of a large tunnel near the Israeli border shows Hamas's investment in the tunnel program and Israel's lack of knowledge about it before the October 7th strikes. Analysts believe the massive tunnel indicates how Hamas's underground warfare has progressed over time, and it raises the question of how many tunnels of this scale have been discovered near Israel without the military's awareness. Israeli military spokesman Daniel Hagari named the discovery of the enormous tunnel Sinwar's secret, referring to Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar and his brother Mohammed Sinwar, who Israeli officials say coordinated the tunnel building project. Journalists were only allowed to enter the first 50 meters of the tunnel, which the Israeli army stated was for their own safety. On the other hand, the Israeli military showed the media a video showing Mohammed Sinwar driving a car from where they claimed he was in the tunnel. According to the IDF, Mohammed Sinwar created the massive tunnel network discovered near the Erez border crossing. This is the largest Hamas attack tunnel discovered by the army. The video also showed Hamas using a massive tunnel boring machine, which allowed them to expand the scope and quality of their underground activity. According to Israeli military officials, the battle to remove Hamas's military capabilities will continue until the organization's tunnel network is dismantled. This process, which authorities think may take years, may conflict with international demands that Israel cease its attacks in Gaza. However, the IDF is determined to destroy the terrorist tunnels. While some Hamas tunnels are barely big enough for a person to crawl through, Israeli officials say this one, near the Erez border crossing and a nearby Israeli military base, is an important part of Hamas's infrastructure. The tunnel's reinforced concrete walls are linked with electrical wires, making it both a conduit and a home for Hamas fighters, who can stay down for long periods of time. According to the Israeli military, the tunnel includes ventilation and sewage systems, bathrooms, blast doors to prevent infiltration, numerous branches, communication networks, and armaments. First, IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari visited the battlefield to demonstrate to the international media and the broader public the awful reality of terrorist-infested hospitals and underground terrorist tunnels in Gaza. Daniel Hagari, joined by the media, met with soldiers outside of Rantisi Hospital. Following this meeting, Hagari uncovered the subterranean Hamas command center beneath Rantisi Hospital, which housed not just suicide vests, rocket-propelled grenades, and other weapons, but also the underground Hamas command center where Hamas was holding Israeli hostages. The floorboards in one place showed a tunnel opening 30 meters below. A captivating video of this was circulated on social media. The video captured the IDF spokesman entering and exiting the tunnel in the basement of the Rantisi Hospital, where the Israeli hostages had previously been held by Hamas militants. The secret door uncovered by IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari is believed to be the entrance to Hamas's longest tunnels, which connect to the terrorist organization's main headquarters. This secret connection to Gaza's longest tunnels was supposedly demolished by Israeli forces. Following this, Hamas is unlikely to use public spaces in Gaza to launch terrorist strikes. The IDF is still searching for and destroying Hamas tunnels in the Gaza Strip. Despite 2 decades of fighting Hamas's tunnel network, including the October 7th attacks, Israel had no idea such a large tunnel existed on its border, near the Erez border crossing and a military base. Civilians in Gaza used the now-closed Erez border crossing to enter and exit Israel for work, medical treatment, and international travel, among other reasons. On October 7th, Hamas militants attacked the civilian border crossing and a nearby military base, damaging the security fence using motorcycles, pickup trucks, and tractors. The Israeli army indicated that a piece of the large tunnel was used to aid in the attacks, but they believe the section leading up to the Israeli border is being stored for a later day. So how did Hamas build these underground pathways for warfare? Northern Gaza is only a 5-minute drive from the Erez base over Gaza's sand dunes. Hamas began its tunnel program here, constructing crude, small tubes reinforced with wooden planks. Richmond Barak added that the organization gradually created concrete reinforced tunnels for vehicles to go through, similar to those built by North Korea in South Korea. After finding that Hamas had established dozens of crossings from Gaza into Israel in 2014, Israel built an underground barrier and invested in Engel tunnel detection technology. However, Hamas maintains a massive network within the enclave, as well as tunnels near the Egyptian border for ammunition smuggling and a possible escape route for senior terrorists from Gaza's war zone. Hamas has dug tunnels beneath Gaza's urban landscape to conceal underground facilities, living quarters, and armament caches. These tunnels were originally utilized to transport weapons and supplies. To summarize, the Israeli army is fighting terrorism while also aiming to restore peace and quiet in the Gaza Strip by separating residents from Hamas. Thank you for watching us. In order not to miss the videos prepared by our team, including the latest developments and special reports on the war in Israel, you can subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and click the Super Thanks button below.